Okay, welcome everybody to the quick midweek recap with Natalia of Faerymermaidmessages. I thought I'd take this opportunity to do a quick recap of we have personally been experiencing in this current retrograde of Venus, as well as the general cosmic energies that have come through, and enjoy the moist wetness of the tropics here in Sydney and up north. Yeah, just have a good chat, see how we go, and see what comes out. And welcome, Natalia. How are you today?
I'm good. It's nice to have a quick catch up again and discuss a lot of the things that are going on. There seems to be the same recurrent themes that a lot of people are experiencing right now. So I'm sure that anybody that's going to be listening into this can really resonate with what we're going to be saying and talking about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. I mean, what kind of themes and what kind of energies have you yourself kind of experienced during the last let's say 2 weeks or so with the 17 to of, was it on the 6th of this month when Venus started?
Yeah, I think it was. I think it was the 6th of March that it first went retrograde.
Mm-hmm.
But we have our shadow periods. So all planets will go retrograde, and the planets also have a shadow retrograde period of maybe about a month or so beforehand. Sometimes it's 5 or 6 weeks beforehand. And then they also have a post-retrograde period where they're still in that shadow bit. So the planets are technically direct at this point, but it's like the spinning is slowing down. So in the pre-stage, they're getting ready to go retrograde, and after the retrograde is finished and they're spinning direct again, it's like it's a slow start. So you still get a little bit of the energies left over. But yeah, so it started on the 6th, I'm pretty sure, and it will be going until about the 14th or 15th of April, depending on your time zone.
Mm-hmm. Okay. One of the things that kind of came to my mind was that certain people might feel as if they're being pulled back like a slingshot and slingshotted forward into what could be seemingly very chaotic in terms of growth, if you want to look at it that way. Is that something that you kind of come into as well when you look around and you see your friends or you see yourself going through things? Does it kind of conjure up a feeling of put into a situation really intensely to kind of gain the most kind of possible growth?
Yeah, for me personally, what I've noticed with this retrograde is that not necessarily for me personally bringing up new feelings. It's not bringing up new thoughts, and it's not making me think or feel things that I wasn't already thinking or feeling before the retrograde started. But what it's forcing me to do is really focus on these issues and not make it about anything outward and it's making me turn to other people. It's making me turn inwards and reflect and actually deal with these issues. And these are obviously issues which, whether I did it consciously or subconsciously, these were obviously issues which were important for my growth and things that I really should have been thinking about more seriously before retrograde started anyway. And the energy from this retrograde is making this the center of my attention now and sort of saying to me, this is the time when you need to be making the decisions. So that's personally what I've noticed most. It's been a lot about turning inwards and, you know, cliche as it sounds, honoring what's in your heart and honoring what you know to be true to you and honoring what is the right decision to be made, not necessarily the easy decisions, but the right decisions, what is best for your growth. And even if it doesn't seem like it at the time, that is truly the most unselfish decision that we can make. You know, most of us are nice, everyday, normal, whatever normal is, but most of us are nice, everyday human beings that we don't go around making decisions trying to hurt other people. But eventually, you know, we do stand in our own power and we take that stand and take that power and say what is actually going to be best for me. And that's sort of the position that I feel is being brought out with me from this retrograde. But speaking to other people, I tend to find that during periods of retrograde, and it's not just Venus, we more typically have Mercury retrogrades, which a lot of people talk about feeling energy from quite strongly. I'm pretty up to date with my retrogrades and I know when Mercury retrograde is hitting, and I have personally never felt Mercury retrograde like I felt this Venus retrograde ever. This one has absolutely kicked my ass, no questions asked about that. But I'm doing a lot of right now. People are feeling a sense of misdirection. There are people that are finding themselves, it's a bit of a paradox. People are finding it a necessity to withdraw from certain people. So if they have a regular group of friends that they interact with, or maybe it's their family, maybe it's their partner, whoever it is, you know, people that they can typically talk to and deal with every day, they're finding that they want to retreat from those people. But at the same time, they are feeling quite lonely and they can't really balance out why they feel the need to pull away from people and yet are also complaining internally because they feel lonely. And there are a lot of shifts happening as well. So people are pulling away and realigning their energies to matched with a crowd of people that are more on their same vibration and at the same energetic level. So it's not always easy to break away from those people when they're not bad people and they've not necessarily done anything wrong. It's not an easy thing to do, but a lot of people are really feeling that pull to realign their energies right now and make sure that they're surrounding themselves by the right people. That's the main things that I'm noticing. And these are the sorts of things that people, or questions I should say, these are the sorts of questions and emotions people are talking to me about when they're wanting readings right now.
Yeah, so in one aspect it's amplification of what may have been a subconscious kind of list of things going through the mind, the subconscious mind, and now it's coming to the surface where let's say you're really wanting to kind of perhaps discover more of yourself. For certain people, it will be self-exploration, coming more into just wanting to get more out of life, to really be in a more happy kind of state of mind, state of body, health. I mean, it's with the amplification of the energies. Is some people will be going through very erratic behavior, and some people will go through more of a mirroring, like reflections coming towards them. Like I've had people mirroring certain aspects from my past, in turn causing me to think, okay, so this is what is this that's being shown to me, and why? So what I understood from that reflection from one person, it had to do with uh, people's behaviors that I didn't want to embody myself. Wanting to be a better version of that person, and be a better example, as a whole, like to do with family or friends, and then moving forward and kind of really understanding the extremes of emotions, and understanding other people's perspectives on what it is they're kind of going through or gone through, and just learning a lot more deeper insight into the myriad of layers of the psychological aspects of the mind. So it's been very interesting in that respect. Other than that, people feeling a bit ungrounded. I myself was feeling a bit ungrounded due to the extremes that I went through, helping other people kind of, not spreading yourself too thin, which I do tend to have a habit of doing, because you yourself want to sometimes feel like you're able to kind of create harmony. Certain people are transmuters of energies, and sometimes it's just a bit too much, and you do need to take time to yourself to allow realignment and balance, and that's what I'm doing at the moment with out into nature, into a surrounding where furthermore enable ourselves to reflect and project out, kind of let go of, and furthermore embody you have within ourselves, which was kind of the theme of New Year's Eve in 2016, during the time where everybody's kind of getting ready for what's to come. So yeah, it's pretty interesting, and I'm looking forward to it. It's only been 3 months so far, and everybody's gone through very drastic changes, through injuries, physically or emotionally, and it's definitely going to be a fantastic year. And yeah, what about yourself when it comes to your friends? Have you seen a lot of your friends having to, let's say, some people got kicked out of their partner's house or anything like that? What's your perspective on that?
Yeah, most of the things that I've noticed quite heavily is the as I said before, the feeling I get about retrograde is, and what I've noticed is that it's not really making people say, do, or feel things that are out of the ordinary. It's just sort of amplifying everything and forcing people to consider these aspects more seriously and to delve into them. And so my people have been asking me is, you know, you're following your intuition and being guided to doing this self-work and pulling away from certain people or gravitating towards other people, whatever you feel is happening. You know, you are being intuitively guided to what you need to deal with this at this time. And there are a lot of people, and it's not just now, they go through their whole life. There are a lot of people that they can't face doing the right amount of self-work, and they go straight into the ego mind, and they make their decisions out of fear, because when you're forced to turn inwards and figure out how you really feel, you know, you're shown both sides. You're shown your destiny, and you're shown your heart's desire, or your life's purpose, whatever it is that you call it. You're forced to actually admit what it is that you're working towards, or what it is that you want. But you're also forced to face your ego, who says, you know, it's going to be upsetting if things don't work out the way you want it to. You know, you're taking a risk, whether that risk is financial, is with your emotions, whatever it is. There's always a risk involved with every decision that we make. And so, yeah, when you do that self-work, you see both sides. You get forced into figuring out what it is that you want, whether it is just in the now moment and it's momentary, or if we're talking on a grander scale, as a lot of people are finding right now, because there is, outside of this retrograde, there is a big shift happening on this earth right now. And there are a lot of people that are getting the urge to change their jobs, quit, travel, you know, just do something out of character. Not actually, you know, not even out of character, just more a spur of the moment sort of thing. There's been no planning, but this is what they know they have to do. There are a lot of people that are making these decisions now. And so when you do that self-work, that's just what happens. If we're talking on a grander scale, you figure out and you face your life purpose face to face. You figure out what it is that you're here to do, what it is that you want to do, what you want your mission to be, and what you want your legacy to be. If you are so given the opportunity to be recognized in that way and leave behind a legacy, and that opportunity right now, and at the same time, their ego comes forward and says, but you know, if you are comfortable with how things are now, things are secure now, you're content, you're happy, whether we're talking about a relationship or a job, with your finances, whatever it is, this is the hot and cold through right now. And retrograde does have a lot to do with it, because we're retrograding backwards from Aries to Pisces. So Aries being a fire sign, the first sign, and then Pisces being the last 12th sign and a water sign. So it is that like water and fire opposite, the very up and down, hot and cold sort of emotions that people are feeling right now. They're really resonating with these, what would have seemed maybe like a month ago, crazy ideas, things that they never would have thought they could have been feeling, things they never would have thought that they would have thought about, all of a sudden seems so real and so true. It's a true clairsentience is the right word, I think. Like they really feel in their heart that this is the truth and that this is what they should be doing. But the ego steps forward and says, you know, a month ago you weren't feeling this way, a month ago you weren't thinking this, are you sure? So it's time for a lot of people. People are, you know, it's not a case of people just thinking things anymore. A lot of people at this moment really feel as if they're being spiritually forced, not in a manipulative way, but just that the time is now sort of a feeling, and this is the time to be doing it. People are really feeling that magnetic pull, or a real push to get out there and actually start making these decisions and manifesting all of these things that they've been working towards. And I totally agree. I think there has been so much growth, and we're only 3 months into the year, and you know, there's there's a lot that's going on this year. You know, the North Node, I think it is, the North Node is spending the whole year in Leo, and the North Node has a lot to do with people's karma and why they have returned in this incarnation to the planet. So everybody has their own North Node at their time of birth, which is, there's a North and South Node actually, but so everybody has their own unique placement on their natal chart, but the North Node as a whole spends this year in Leo, which is all about, you know, Leo rules over our 5th house of creativity. So there's a lot of people that are going to be feeling, you know, like the birth of something new and those creative energies this year, because that's what that North Node is all about. Later on this year, there's a solar eclipse, and I think it's either a new moon or it may be a super moon. It may be a super full moon. But very close together, there is a solar eclipse in Leo, and then also, I'm pretty sure it's a super moon in Leo as well, around July or August. So there's a lot of these creative energies around this year, and I actually think it's really great that people have felt really stimulated and motivated to start making these decisions. It's real easy to get pissy and annoyed at retrograde for bringing these things up. But, you know, I keep seeing and hearing from a lot of people who are consulting for me, and I'm consulting with, and I'm going to talk about my feelings and emotions too. You know, I keep hearing the same things of, you know, trusting the process. And even though it is retrograde, and we are totally told with retrogrades to not take how we're feeling too seriously, I think a lot of people get like they're supposed to be doing something with these feelings now. So I just think it's really, really interesting that there has been so much activity so early on in the year. And I think coming towards the end of the year, like possibly the last 3-4 months of the year, from about September onwards, where there is a lot predicted. Not to say that around us there won't be a lot of things, but as far as planetary, astrologically, and intergalactic energies, you know, it sort of is slowing down by the end of the year. So I think it will be really interesting to see between now and then, if people were to say, keep some sort of a dream journal or a manifestation journal, or just a daily diary, even just detailing their feelings and what's going on. It'll be really interesting to compare now to then and see how people have grown and what has actually changed.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think from that, the first thought that comes to mind is, would it be that people at first would step back and kind of look at it from a panoramic kind of view to kind of get a better perspective on what actually is happening, like, kind of like brainstorming, you could say, and then pick out the best kind of first step to go forth with. Would you say that would be kind of something to advise to do, especially when it comes to relationships or making investments, or, you know, generally spending money or investing in any situation that you're kind of going through at the moment?
Yeah, I mean, if people feel that they can emotionally separate themselves from a situation, any situation I'm talking now, and they can be an observer of the situation, life, rather than feeling as if they are totally emotionally involved and are therefore reacting out of emotion, you know, I think people, whether people would make the same decisions as an observer as they would operating out of their emotions, that's up to the individual. But I suggest, if people can recognize and sense themselves that they are forming attachments and they are perhaps making decisions based on what the expected outcome will be, rather than purely staying present and making the decision that they think is right, because in any universe and in any point of time, this is the right decision to be made. If they're staying present and they're making the decision now, and they know that that decision is the right decision inside themselves, then yeah, I think that being standing back and being an observer has its benefits. But, you know, I also think that not necessarily well versed in the character traits of our intergalactic families. I know there are people who are much more well versed in this area than I am, but one thing that I do know is that the ego and our human emotions and the feelings that we have available to us are something which is quite unique to Earth. And I think that we owe it to ourselves as part of the human experience as well to honour those emotions and to feel what we're feeling. It's okay to feel what we're feeling. We're allowed to feel all the emotions that exist. We're allowed to feel a regular love. We're allowed to feel a total unconditional love. We're allowed to feel anger. We're allowed to feel sadness, bitterness, jealousy, envy, like even the things that we don't like to admit that we have felt. I think those feelings, and I think we should honour those feelings and try and understand what it is that is, you know, especially if it's a negative vibrating feeling, try and understand why it is in that instance that the ego has stepped in and made you feel that way, instead of being able to step back and observe through unconditional love. I think when we're feeling certain things, we owe it to ourselves to honour that and to try and figure out why it is that we have defaulted to that way. But if somebody was asking me personally, I can call myself out on my own faults better than anybody else can. So I know when I'm forming an attachment or when I'm attaching to something, and that's the point when I know that I need to step back and I need to become more of an observer rather than letting these feelings take over. So if people have that sort of same discerning ability with themselves and are able to read themselves in that way, then my suggestion would be, and how I go through these sorts of situations, is I let myself feel what I feel, and I try and figure out what those feelings mean and what they're trying to teach me. And if I reach a point where I feel as if I'm just totally in my head and I'm overthinking it and I'm beginning to form attachments, or these feelings are otherwise, you know, starting to infiltrate too much of what I do, that's when I try and step back and be an observer and almost give myself that third party advice, where if somebody else was looking in this situation, what would they be suggesting to me? Because attachments are unhealthy in any dimension, in any planet, in any language. Attachments are unhealthy because you're not making a decision because it's the right decision in that instance. You're making a decision based on what is the expected outcome, and that's not good karma. That's economics. You're not doing something good because it's the right thing to do. You're doing what you think is the best way to get something back in return. And things get a little bit dangerous when we start to think of what it is that we're going to get out of this situation, instead of just focusing on what is the right decision, what is thing that I can do in a good way, what is it that is honouring my needs and my truest self without hurting other people as much as possible. So that's my advice to people. If you can discern for yourself when you're forming unhealthy attachments and when you're letting these emotions control you a little bit too much, step back and be an observer. But otherwise, you know, these emotions are here on earth with us to teach us as well. And I think on occasion when people try and just totally observe and live in this, you know, love and light sort of a spiritual void where they don't really let themselves go to any dark place, if that's what's needed, I do think people miss out in a way on the other side of the human experience. And especially within the spiritual community, there are a lot of people who don't really know their own darkness. They've never gone to that place and they don't know that side about themselves. And I don't know how you can try and coach people through something that you've never experienced. Like I've personally never experimented with any sort of drug, be it recreational or, you know, a non-medical, non-recreational accepted sort of a drug. Like I've never done anything. So I'm interested in hearing other people talk about it, but I wouldn't really give my advice or lecture on something that I haven't experienced. So yeah, it's all up to the individual, really. People need to trust their intuition and be guided by their feelings as well, what they think is best.
Yeah. Well, in that instance, I can kind of fill in the blank spots in regards to exploration in that arena. It does kind of cause a bit of concern when people do focus too much on the light side of things and try to cultivate what they call the love and light. Because, yeah, like you said, then they're missing out on so much, you know, exponential probable growth within themselves. Going through the darkness, we see these symbols around us within music, within literature, that kind of try to teach us that in order to come through and shine your brightest and be your true potential, you need to kind of experience the darkness to gain a equal balance in terms of what is darkness and what is light, what is positive, what is negative in an energetic sense, and what serves you the most and what doesn't. And as we've kind of covered tonight, it's an opportunity to be shown a insight into what you could be doing that's not really healthy, or you could be going a totally different direction, where if you allow yourself to feel the emotion, then you can gain more of a gratitude and joy and honor in seeing that when you are letting the traumas come up, the emotions of the past, and it's showing you the person that you can be, the teacher, the healer, and whatnot, instead of just letting yourself be trapped by the ego, which consists of a very small percentage of our brains, really. It's just like a primal protective mechanism. And yeah, going into this year, furthermore, it's definitely people being put in situations which, whether they like it or not, it's not to punish them. It's more kind of say, this is your time to actually see a deeper kind of existence, a deeper kind of a sense of what you are as a soul, and how you are connected to the universe and the energies and the fractalization of all that is, from the biggest to the smallest. But yeah, I think that, you know, certain people are here to gain a certain amount of experience and then carry on to the next experience, and a percentage will carry on and align, harmonize with Earth, and go to the next stage of the cosmic evolution, the main event that has been spoke great work, as certain humans have kind of termed it as. They've got their popcorn ready and they're just, you know, watching and offering advice, but not really anything too new that we haven't known before. It's just we need to, you know, dig deeper and unlock that which is within us as we kind of allow that to come through. And I think last time when I was having a meeting, a meditation meeting, we were doing it like a guided meditation, and some of the messages that came through from the angelic realm, like from Michael and Raphael and Ariel, as well as a few other aspects, was to stand strong in your convictions, to not be in fear of what's to come, because what's to come is only of the highest benefit to you. But the most important thing for us to do, from my perspective, and what I've gone through the last 4 weeks, is it's the energy and intention and attention that you place upon what you want to get out of it. Not based upon a monetary or materialistic gain, but more of a community relationship and network basis, like connecting with people, coming back to more of a tribal, more spiritual kind of connection and expression, but at the same time expanding your perspective from a higher point of view, like an eagle, and that's where you have your animal totems that will kind of come through if you're in that awareness and able to kind of spot certain things being put in front of you. You'll see, for example, I had a crow, you know, show itself and really call out, and in a specific manner that was like, hey, look this way, you're actually being told something here. And the crow typically, as far as I recall, symbolizes transformation and also wisdom, and going between worlds, dimensions, and gaining more of insight into the next steps that you can take, and adventure, and treating it as an adventure more so than work. So yeah, it's really interesting.
Yeah, and I think as well it's probably a good time to sort of mention as well for people who I suppose energetically are feeling like they're feeling a lot right now. Where the unfortunate thing comes in is with the shift that is happening on Earth, people who are not actually conscious of what is actually happening are still being affected. A certain amount of spiritual immunity, I suppose you could call it, that these other people are granted, where it's sort of like, you know, they ride the wave created by everyone else, and there's, you know, there's definitely a point that they reach where they go no further, but there is a certain amount of come up that they get off of the back of other people actually doing the work to shift the consciousness and elevate the dimensions on this planet. And it is going to reach a point where there is a proper split and people are, for lack of a better word, left behind. That is very real, and that is happening right now. So I would also say to people at this point that we are in that intermediate level where the shift is happening. A lot of the choices you are being called to make basically surmount to, you need to make this decision because in one instance, if you make this decision, you go forward. In another instance, it's not to say that you're going to be unhappy, but you're sort of picking which side of the fence that you want to sit on at this point. And so while everybody is still writing this experience together, I want people to be aware that you're feeling a lot of energy that isn't your own as well right now. There is a lot going on. There are a lot of people mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally on edge. People can be dealing with very, very shallow issues or very deep issues. But there's a lot of energy. There's a lot of energy around right now, and the things that people are picking up on, and a lot of the times when they are feeling indecisive, they're picking up on energy that isn't their own, and it's making them question their own thoughts and their own feelings. So now is a really good time if you're going to be doing any sort of self-work. If, for example, you feel as if you are one of those people who you've made your decisions, whatever it is that has been brought forward at this time for you to work on, if you feel you are at a happy place where you have made these decisions and you're perhaps at a point where you're just waiting to enact some of these decisions, you're waiting for the right moment, you're waiting to feel comfortable, whatever it is that you're waiting for, one of the best things you can be doing right now is setting up some protection shields for yourself and for your own spirit, and protecting your own thoughts, because the last thing that you want is to not be recognizing that it's somebody else's energy that you're absorbing and having it actually impact on your own decision making and making you question what you think was right or what you thought was wrong, whatever situation you're finding yourself in. There's a lot around right now, and I think I said this earlier, consciously or subconsciously, what is being brought forward for us now, we have asked for this to happen as a part of our karma, and this is the time before this next big shift happens for all of this baggage to be released, and you can either come on this journey or you can get left behind. There are no right or wrong decisions. It's not to say that if you choose to go on this ride, that the ride is going to be easy, that it's going to be pleasant. There's basically what you feel is the right and wrong decision, and only you can make that. But yeah, when what you said about in the readings with the angels coming forward saying, having conviction in your beliefs, once you feel that energy that has seen you make that decision, have conviction in that and stick to it. It is a hard time right now because, yeah, there are a lot of people not conscious of what's happening around them that are still at a level where they can spiritually be affected, even if they are unaware. And especially for people that are more conscious of these things and are aware, who we can pick up on other people's energies a lot more. We just need to be mindful that a lot of the energy that we're feeling right now isn't necessarily all of ours. So it is important to ground right now. It is important to be doing a lot of meditation, and it is important to be putting up those protective shields, whatever rituals it is that you do, whether you ask for help from your angels, from spirit, whatever it is that you do. Some people have visual techniques, some people repeat mantras, whatever it is that works for you. I think it's important that people are doing that now. I think it's really important.
Yeah, definitely. And with certain people, it is a bit difficult to kind of create boundaries in order to kind of gain more of a personal perspective on the energy and the decision to be made. If you are feeling that it is very difficult to kind of be moving around and then making that decision, perhaps it would be a good idea to kind of create your own kind of happy place, a safe space where you can kind of go and sit down on a pillow and switch on piece of music or a frequency, for example, 528 hertz, that typically is used for activating and focusing on the heart space instead of purely being in the mental space, to really feel what it is your desires are and feel what your intuition is telling you instead of what you're thinking, because I mean the mind itself is powerful. It is the projector of your kind of reality, based upon influences, based upon what intentions that you create, that you choose to kind of construct. So if you're finding it very difficult to just be silent in meditation, I found that you can always just focus on the breath itself. Focus on just crossing your legs, getting comfortable, and then just taking short breaths from your nose to your heart space. And as you go through that motion, just try to feel and visualize even like a gold stream of energy. And then you can easily go from there and progress into deeper and deeper states of contemplation, or pure kind of silence, and just observe and feel and learn not to attach to the emotions that are coming from your subconscious mind or from the body itself. And that way it can kind of lead you to various insights, things that you haven't noticed before, things that you might have neglected. Many of us, for example, have been suppressed from connecting with our inner child, that playful part of ourselves. And it is time to do the work to reconnect to that part of you, as well as setting the groundwork, the new structure, which will draw upon what you want and not what you don't want. Because I mean, for example, I have friends that have been very focused on the past people that have hurt them, and I understand that it's very hard and it is painful. But if you have had people hurt you in the last 3 months or 12 months to 2 years, it is time to kind of, as we spoke about, stand back and um, see what you can kind of open yourself up to, like a new page of, let's say, keywords, key triggers that will kind of help you step forward. And from there, you can already embody that you want to have abundance, you want to connect to people that are more aligned to self-growth and adventure, and really having a more fun experience in this vessel that we're walking around in. But yeah, do it at the pace that you are comfortable with, and every day is an opportunity to learn from the past, and then kind of slowly going back away from it and towards what you really want, and focus what you want. But also you can embody that by saying that it's already within you. It's just waiting to be brought out, like abundance of love, or getting the opportunities to build something that you want to do, to help people, to help yourself, to further develop things. So yeah, have a balance of playfulness but also seriousness, and keep learning every day.
Yeah, I think people can almost overcomplicate
Mm-hmm.
things that they can be doing. even like meditation, like a lot of people say, I can't meditate, I can't quiet my mind, I don't know how to do that. I mean, but honestly, to me, meditation isn't a time for your mind to be quiet. That's the irony of it. Meditation is where you get your answers. So meditation is when it's not necessarily about having the zoned out Zen quiet mind. It's about taking that time to block out those external factors like technology, like, you know, just general noise. If you live in a noisy area and you can always hear cars, or if you live by the airport, so you always hear the planes coming and going, you know, whatever it is, that is that distraction. Meditation is about stepping away from that and actually finding a space to let your thoughts flow. And once your thoughts are flowing, listen to what it is that's coming forward, because what's coming forward is what's going to be answered for you in this meditation. So I do think people can overcomplicate it and think that it's meant to be something that it's not, whether they think that it's going to be this totally intergalactic cosmic experience, which it's not for everyone, whether they think it's going to be this totally relaxed Zen, you know, chilled out thing, which it's also not for everyone. You know, meditation doesn't have to be for hours. If you're finding yourself forming a lot of attachments, whether it's to people or you have attachments to things, if you're finding yourself really materialistic and you're trying to manifest certain things into fruition and understanding why it is that you're focusing on it, you know, amethyst is a great stone for addiction of any sort, because it works with your crown and your third eye chakra. So it allows you to view your addictions and, you know, your thoughts like that from a much higher perspective. So you can meditate for 5 minutes with the aim of trying to figure out what the root of your compulsion to form attachments or to form addictive behaviors is. You can do that with an amethyst. You know, if you're finding yourself feeling troubled with this Venus retrograde, you know, Venus is of course the planet of love and relationships, but it also has a lot to do with material gain and with work. So relationships and work are the common theme that has cropped up for most people with Venus retrograde. They're either feeling funny about their relationship or unsatisfied with their job and trying to figure out what decision it is that needs to be made. So, you know, you can meditate with a rose quartz crystal, which is great for the heart chakra, or you can meditate with malachite or green calcite or green aventurine. Anything that's pink or green works with the heart chakra. Watermelon tourmaline is a fantastic stone for the heart chakra, you know, so you can do those things and it doesn't have to be this hour-long, you know, you don't have to feel like you're Buddha in one day from doing meditation. I really think people overcomplicate what it is that they can do to bring themselves a little bit of peace and a little bit of relaxation like that. People get really in their head and they don't actually quiet and just listen for what actually comes forward. They think it's about not thinking about things and not having their own thoughts at all, but really it's about shutting everything else out so you can actually quieten your mind and let the flow. You want your thoughts to come forward. You want to know how you're feeling and what you're thinking, because once you are sure about what you think and what you feel, that's when you will get your answers. If you're not sure how you're thinking or how you're feeling about something, how are your angels or source or anything going to give you an answer? If you're finding yourself feeling up in the air about everything, that's when you will consistently, whether it's through readings, through channelings, whether you're doing meditation, you know, whether somebody is doing this for you or you're doing it yourself, that's when you will find the same answers coming up of things like, you know, you have the power within you, the answers are all within, because you need to resonate with the decision first before somebody else, your higher self, your angels, your guides, whoever it is you're in communication with, you need to know what it is that you want before somebody else is going to help you out with things you can do to get there and make it happen. So I think, again, it's quite relevant to the messages you said came forward in that session with you, where there was a lot about having conviction in your beliefs. Like, it's time for people to really start not apologizing how they feel and just honor those feelings. It's not necessarily about waking up with this idea and being, and just acting out on every single thought you have. That's not the advice that I'm giving at all. But, once you're thinking about something every day, once you're feeling a certain way about something, whether that feeling is good or bad, whether it's your intuition guiding you towards something, or whether it's your intuition saying you need to rethink this, whatever angle the messages are coming from, once you're at that point where you're thinking about something every day, especially with the shift that we're moving into now, where we're sort of traversing, or going to be traversing very quickly, from 4D into 5D for some of us, your ability to manifest is going to catapult and absolutely skyrocket. And you want to be in control of your thoughts. You want to know exactly what it is, exactly how you're feeling. Because if you are unsure, then you're going to have a really, really hard time. We need to just start honoring our feelings and our thoughts. And I suppose dropping the expectations, just honoring the fact that this is how we feel, or this is how we think, and that is my truth, or it's your truth, and that is right for us. And I really do believe that everything unfolds afterwards in divine timing, as it's meant to. I'm being witness to this right now myself, and I do it as well. I definitely overthink. I'm guilty of it myself. It's something that I constantly work on, but it is something that I'm aware of with myself. And as I said, the shift is happening very quickly from 4D to 5D, and your ability to manifest and what you're focusing on and what you're thinking on, that's your magic. Your thoughts are magic. Your words are magic. What you say and think, you can create. So you want to be sure of what you're thinking. You want to be sure of what you're feeling. You want to be focusing on something very specific, because that's how it's going to happen, and that's how it's going to happen for your highest good, if you honor your feelings without expectation of things happening a certain way afterwards.
Yeah, that is definitely something that may kind of trigger someone at this moment to really, say, what is it that I don't need? What is it what I do need in this very moment to enable myself to be centered, to be focused, to be in my highest desire, in my heart space. For me personally, the first thing that I kind of started doing was I sold my TV. I got rid of it because that's the source of your programming, and that's why it's called a TV program or TV programs, because it's giving you a certain perspective, as we have covered in past discussions, and we are filled with inputs every second if we are attached to our mobile phone, our laptop and TV, etc., etc. So in this time of dropping into your heart space, it would be, if you can, just disconnect your antenna from your TV. Just use your laptop and really say to yourself, I'm going to choose what I want to listen to. I'm going to be more conscious of what I am feeding myself, and what the content is embodying at that time in each moment. And that's kind of where I personally kind of it took control of how I'm going to kind of form my subconscious mind, kind of like clearing it out, replacing the old, old material that was kind of put in there by TV and all those different things. And then from that, really connecting with what it is to be an energetic being, and how my consciousness, my mind, my heart space really affects the world around me and my reality, and how I can be more in the now, in the moment, whether it be standing at the traffic lights, waiting to cross, or whether it be planning for an event, and ultimately, as a meme said this week, what you think about each moment, every day, is what ends up being attracted. So if you really want to start to manifest, to bring forth, to attract the things, the reality, the partnerships and the union of community, start by thinking about that highest vibrational, let's just say, frequency, as words are frequencies, as thoughts are frequencies, and forms our reality is yet to become. Then you can really gain perspective of how powerful you are as a human being, and how amazing of an opportunity you have and we have all together as a family. So it truly is a blessing and an honor. It's just knowing self and knowing the universe. It doesn't have to do with beliefs. It's just an understanding of the connectedness that's all around you, and living that highest excitement collectively.
Yeah, and I mean, I think in every situation, we are, irrespective of what dimension we're heading to, we are still, at the end of the day, humans. And from a very human perspective, something which has always helped me in those moments, if people are feeling that indecision and perhaps a bit of fear is creeping through and the ego is taking over, I just want to make the decision where I'm not going to fall flat on my face. And we all have those moments. We all want to do the right thing, but we also, we want to have some sort of a guarantee as well. We want to know that things are going to be okay. And something which is easy for me to center myself in is actually that I have gone through things before, and things have always been okay. Things absolutely suck at the time. You can absolutely hate the process. You can absolutely hate it, and you can, I don't know what the right word is, resentful, I suppose. You can feel resentful that this is a lesson that you're going through. Whatever it is that you're feeling, you can feel all of that. But most of us can also look back at other moments of our life. Whenever we're going through some sort of a crisis, big or small, we always go to the ego and think that this is the end of the world as we know it. We all do it. And yet we're all still here, and we've all survived, and whatever was horrible last time, and that was the end of the world, we made it through. And whatever will happen is not here to test you in the way that people assume a test comes. It's not here to test your faith. It's not here to make you question how your guides, or how God or source or spirit, whatever you call it. These tests aren't here to make you question how favorable you are in source's eyes. it's here to make you look at yourself and to make you sit up and realize ultimately how you have been the one to put yourself in this situation. And the great thing is that you have the power to pull yourself out of it as well. Now, I know for me, the position that I am in personally right now, which I won't go into, but the position that I am in personally right now, you know, I have honestly at some moments absolutely scratched my head at the whole situation. If I was talking to some people would say that, you know, it's a really sad situation that I'm in right now. But I'm feeling quite positive and quite good about it, which is the really shocking thing, because people that know me wouldn't necessarily expect that of me, wouldn't expect me to feel as calm and composed about this. And perhaps a lot of other people wouldn't be as composed and calm about the situation that I'm in right now. And I was thinking about it, and I realized that what is happening for me right now, I really did ask for it. I reached a point where I was sitting around feeling all of this energy around me, but not really sure what I was supposed to be doing with it and what was the purpose for it all. And around about the same time, I got, and this was maybe middle to end of January, so maybe around the 20th of January, I was researching and getting absolutely obsessed with Moldavite. And I'd been looking to get a piece for a very long time because I knew about the stone, I knew what it was. And for those that don't know, there was basically an asteroid which crashed into the side of the mountain on Earth here, and the minerals from the asteroid have fused with this mountain and they've produced the stone Moldavite. So it's totally unrenewable. It's very expensive. There are a lot of fakes out there, but it's basically non-renewable. Once the stone is chipped away out of the mountain and all the pieces have been bought, that's it. So I'd been looking at getting one of these pieces for a while, and when I found some at a crystal shop that I actually liked, because they're all expensive, so I wanted to make sure that I felt really drawn toward these pieces. I found two pieces which were almost like siblings. They were both triangular in shape. One was a pendant and one was a loose stone. So I bought them both on the same day, and I kept researching about how is best to use Moldavite and what to do with it. And I found a really great mantra that you were supposed to recite when working with your Moldavite, which I did every time I would wear the pendant or every time I would meditate with the loose stone. The mantra that I repeated was, I open myself to transformation and I invoke the manifestation of my highest destiny. Now, I know that I saw a YouTube video where somebody said this mantra. I can't remember who it was, but I know that I heard and saw this mantra somewhere. And I know that that was me sort of saying and putting out there to the universe, you know, I throw my hands up and the power's over to you guys now. I know that there's something happening with me and I know it's going to be big. I know it's going to mean a lot of changes, but I just have to tell you that I'm ready. Whatever that is, I'm ready, because I know that I'm supposed to be doing something. I know I'm supposed to be doing something more than what I am. And I know that I'm being sent signs now to step up and show that I'm ready, or prove in some way that I'm ready. And this is how I'm doing it. I'm saying that I'm ready. So I think a lot of people get stuck in listening to what I do or what you do, Jack, what anyone does. You know, you can get stuck in the world of YouTube and in the land of Instagram trying to find inspiration off of what other people do. And you spend so much time researching about what the best thing is for you to do that you don't actually ever end up doing anything. And literally, whether it's something as simple as meditation or whether you're trying to do some serious manifesting, if we're going to sit on either end of the scale, it doesn't matter. at some point, just starting, taking that first step and doing something is better than nothing. If you can go out into your backyard and sit under a tree and there's not a lot of noise in your suburb, and you can just sit under the tree and let the air that's outside, you know, blow through your hair, and if you can feel relaxed for a minute, then that minute of what may be a proper meditation is better than sitting out there for an hour, not really getting anything out of the experience because you expect it to be a certain way. So I really think people just need to stop being so scared and judgmental on themselves that it has to be a certain way for them because this is what they've read for others. And just get out there and do something. Get out into nature. Follow your intuition. You know, if I would bet any money in the world that if people wake up and feel like they really want to go for a walk, like perhaps there's a park down the road from them and they think, I really just feel like going for a walk and sitting in that park, I would put my life on it that somebody else is going to be walking out to that park feeling the same way, and they're going to meet and they're going to connect, and they're probably going to have one of the deepest and best conversations they've ever had in their life. Things like that happen. Things like that happen every day, and especially at this time in the world, things like that are happening more and more. So sometimes you really just need to get out there and just do things.
Yeah. One of the things that I kind of reminded myself was that we all should be proud of ourselves, no matter where you are and how you've kind of gone through things and experienced things. Know that you should be proud, and you don't feel as if you've not achieved anything in your life. In the whole retrospect, but kind of look at the things that you have achieved and own that within yourself. And one of the messages that I've kind of been given is also, like you said, don't title yourself, don't go onto YouTube and all those other platforms to look for the answers, and try to come back to yourself and trust yourself more so, and in order to clear out and allow those thoughts to bubble up, and kind of observe and kind of integrate that wisdom, that information that's awaiting to be kind of accessed. When you come to a certain point of exploration, as we do when we're kind of awakening to the deeper reality of our experience, it's at a point where, for example, for myself, I've spent 6 to 8 hours each day, if possible, late nights, being a night owl, and after about 3 years or 5 years, it's time to, especially now, to come back and sit with yourself. And it is a time of community, and it is a time of what they say the new earth will be. The kind of separation into two different streams, two different directions of where you choose to go. Those that choose to go through perhaps a more difficult or more eventful kind of path, or you can go hand in hand and connect and network with people, be more united and be one organism, one race, and cement that heart-based kind of action to create what necessarily doesn't have to be chaotic, whereas it's been like that for the last 2,000 to 12,000 years. it is a time of great change and great opportunities, and it is fantastic, whether you see it or not. And don't worry about losing your friends, or perhaps disconnecting from family at this time. Allow yourself to realize that those that are closest to you, they'll come back to you when the right time comes. And just purely by being around them still, and kind of, dropping seeds here and there, they will come back to you, and they will awaken to what it is you're trying to kind of show them. When it comes to family, when it comes to friends, um, you'll depart from that station, and you'll arrive at a destination, a station that will provide you with fantastic experiences, fantastic people that are going to teach you a lot of things, and you're going to have an opportunity to teach them. So at the end of the day, it's a union that we're coming into, or a choice of separation. And we're in the age of Aquarius, and it is an age of unifying and building a better place. And Earth is not really going to wait for us any longer, and we'll be shown the way.
Yeah, and I think as well, a lot of people get stuck in the judgment, not necessarily that they will judge themselves, but there is a lot of concern with how your decisions look to other people and how what you do affects other people. And I think I said it before, I don't believe that most people make decisions attempting to hurt other people, but we sort of need to understand as well a little bit how the ego works, and the mind for that matter. If your decision affects someone else, that's their ego and their mind working together, telling them that they are entitled to feeling sad or upset or whatever it is that they're feeling about your decision. Now, there are a lot of decisions that we make which do genuinely affect other people. But if your decision isn't made with malice, if your decision is made for your highest good, with your highest intention possible, and that includes body and being conscious of the fact that your decision may affect other people, then you have to start to put the responsibility to the people that are appropriate. And it is a personal decision to allow your ego to be hurt and feel affected by the decisions that other people make. And it's tough. We do have these emotions, and the things other people say to us do hurt. The things other people do to us do hurt. But there is between somebody being inconsiderate and somebody saying, I just think that this is the right decision for me, for example. I think it is something, for example, which has been said to me the last couple of weeks quite a lot, is, you're not crazy for wanting the things that you want, Natalia, and if these things are going to make you happy, then you do deserve to be happy. And that's not something exclusive to me. If something that you want, and I don't mean it like an ego want or a material want, I mean, if this is something that is almost like you, if you are following your heart, or you are following some sort of an intuition inside that is telling you that this is the right thing to do, and that this is going to make you happy, that this is the right decision, this is going to be how you can work in your life, this is going to be true to your mission and to your life purpose, then outside of how your decisions affect other people, and I'm not saying it's going to feel nice to leave people behind or feel as if you have hurt people, but outside of all of those emotions which belong to other people and you can't really control them, we all deserve to be happy. It is an unselfish thing to make a selfless decision based on the fact that this is going to bring you the most happiness in a true and selfless sense. So I think a lot of people do, and it all comes back to the logical side of the mind living in your head and overthinking. A lot of people will spend their whole lives making decisions concerned on what other people are going to think of them and more concerned about other people's feelings. And I find it quite ironic that a lot of us are coached into living with hurt and upset ourselves, but we won't express, we won't do what we truly want, because we may hurt somebody else's ego for 5 minutes or for the small amount of time by comparison, that they will feel hurt. Like you can spend a lifetime feeling resentment and feeling regret for making the wrong decision for yourself, but the hurt that somebody else feels based off of your decision, if people are prepared to go within themselves and do the right amount of work to figure out why they are hurt by your decision, then that hurt can actually be transmuted and they can learn the lessons out of that situation that they were meant to as well. So it's not actually your responsibility to feel bad for somebody who isn't prepared and understand from their perspective as well as yours. And I don't mean selfish in a bad way. I mean selfish in a good way. I think it's a time that we can all be selfish and that we want, because we've both said it a few times tonight, the world is changing and you either progress with it or you get left behind. And either decision is what you make of it. You can choose to move forward and totally squander and waste that opportunity, and you can choose to stay behind and, you know, live a quite a mundane normal life, and that's fine too. Whatever decision someone makes is fine, but I think it's around about the right time that we stop apologizing for doing what we think is right for us.
Yeah, it's definitely a time where we can allow ourselves to kind of refocus our perspectives, and also thinking on a vibrational and organism-based perspective. A lot of people are talking about the subject of the separation. When it comes to the separation, there's this mandala effect, the kind of separation of a cell in the body, and it's like the shedding of the old skin, so that the new that is within it can kind of come out. So the earth itself, Gaia, Pachamama, whatever label that you put on the Gaia Sophia energy, the process that's happening now is both planetary as well as going down to the individual, and you're going to be either waking up in the morning at a certain time and you'll be in that vibrational frequency, that reality which aligns with you, or you're going to align with the higher frequency, and it has nothing to do with superiority or better than, because a lot of people that are in, let's say, a fear mode, when we talk about ascension and higher vibrational kind of people, like being around people that high vibe, it has all to do with healing and coming into and moving up into that which is more harmonious, more productive, more thriving instead of surviving. And me personally, I've had an opportunity to have certain people kind of point that out, that certain people will think that it is all about us being better than, but if you choose to see it in what it really is, it's about time that we let go of addictions, let go of the addiction of fear, the addiction of suffering. If you're finding yourself feel like, oh, this is absolutely normal, you know, I feel comfortable, but in actual fact, on the soul level, your soul's trying to, you know, create situations to make you see that, hey, you have an opportunity to kind of break off here and go into a more kind of growthful spurt within yourself. Then do so. I know it's hard. It's hard for all of us in various kind of stages of growth. But at the same time, become mindful, um, become more opportunistic in a positive manner, and try to kind of drop down to your heart space. And it is about the heart space, uh, based upon the fact that the heart space is one of the most powerful spots within the body itself. And the universe itself is love, but there's also tough love, and certain people will experience tough love in order to eventually move into the soul's alignment. And yeah, otherwise, I do wish everyone a fantastic last week of April, and maybe, I mean, not April, March, going into April, and just be proud, stand strong, and don't apologize for wanting to have a better life and stepping into a new adventure for yourself. And with that, I don't want to take too much time tonight. So, Natalia, what do you have any last words that you would like to add to anything that's coming to mind at this time?
I would probably just reiterate that now is really a time to be doing that self-work. As painful as it can be sometimes, now is really the time to be doing the self-work. A lot of people are feeling that pull to look inwards, and as I've already said, until and only then that you're starting to form your attachments or your addictions or whatever it is that plagues you, you know, honor your feelings and let yourself feel what you're feeling. Figure out what it is that's going on, because it is make or break time for a lot of people, and there is a reason why globally people winds of change as strong as they are. So if you support in your private life, you know, find pages on social media that can influence you. You know, don't live in the world and try and escape everything. Find your inspiration. Find people in online communities that you can talk to, like-minded people. Now really is a time for action, and I'm right there with everybody that the changes which are necessary at the moment, we all feel that they're the right decisions. They're not necessarily easy ones to make, but you know, as soon as you know that the decision is the right one for you, now is a time of action. We just have to go for it. So there's support out there, whatever position you're finding yourself in. There's a lot of support out there, and there's a lot of people within spiritual communities. You know, this isn't a business plug at all, but you know, I talk to people, and I'm happy to talk to people for free. You know, I charge for a lot less than what I do charge for as far as readings on my services go. So, you know, we bring that human contact back and feel like, you know, have people feel like there is that safe space that they can go to. So I'll stick my hand up and say, if people are feeling lost and if people want to talk, my ear is always open. You know, whoever it is that you need to find that solidarity and that comfort, just connect with the right people that are going to help you feel confident. I can't make the decisions for you, but I can do my best to help make you feel confident in these decisions. It unfortunately isn't a time to hide and run away. It's a time to step up, find that strength in yourself, and make these decisions, because we are, those of us that are feeling this right now are, it's not even subconscious anymore. It's very conscious and it's very real. We're being called to make these decisions now. So just honor that and get help where you can if you need it. There's no shame in needing help and asking for help.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, certain people might feel at this time that instead of retracting into yourself, instead of actually going out and exploring and seeing what the options offer professionally, in regards to you know, experiencing bouts of anxiety, depression, and whatever it is in relation to that, I can only suggest that we all at certain points should be open to going to someone and seeing what they can kind of shed light on, and how they can kind of help you, help us, help each other, um, kind of build healthier habits, healthier ways to kind of move forward and let go of cycles that have been holding you back. And just take it one day at a time. Just see what works for you and get deeper and deeper in more connection to your intuition, and feel your way into what your soul truly wants. Don't worry about anyone else around you. Dress how you want. Listen to music that you like, and know that you are in each moment capable of connecting with those people that truly don't mind. As the saying goes, those that mind don't matter, and those that don't mind matter most, as you can say. Otherwise, have a great and stay safe. And wherever you are in the world, know that you are loved by myself and Natalia, possibly as well. And let us all build a better world each day. And if anyone is, they're more than welcome to contact me at Rainbow Tribe Universal Healing on Facebook, and we're both here for anyone that needs a bit of support and a bit of perspective on things, and we'll do our best to stand in your power and your potential. And thank you for listening in, and have a great